Come on, pick up. Damn it. Still no answer. What the hell is going on? More wine, Jem.
Thank you, Martin, but I think I've had enough wine for one day.
Right. You did drive on the way here. Wait, did you drive?
Nah, you gave me a plane ticket, which was for the wrong airport, I should remind you. I still can't believe I had to take an Uber.
Ah, yeah. Sorry about that. Should have read the fine print. Anyway, I guess you've had enough wine for one day. That's fine. Wouldn't want you getting heavy-headed now, would we? Now that I think about it, what does it feel like for a Jem to get heavy-headed? Probably doesn't feel good.
Did you say something?
Huh? No, don't mind me.
Okay then. I'll say, Martin, this is pretty nice. You sure know how to entertain your guests around here.
Well, I like to go the extra mile. That, and it's always nice to have someone to watch Gumball with.
You sure are in love with that show, huh?
Yeah, I am actually. I can't help it though. It's just so damn good. Best freaking show ever.
Can't argue with that. I'm really liking what I see, and I'm glad I stuck around for as long as I did. I don't think I've laughed at a cartoon or been wowed by it quite like this before. It's good stuff.
Hey, someone who gets me. So, what do you think of Season 1?
I thought it was pretty good, actually. It's not a perfect season by any means. I wasn't fond of some episodes, especially ones with bad characterization and lowbrow humor, and especially the ones with cheap writing. But the ones that won me over really won me over.
Funny you should say that.
How so?
Well, let me put it this way. Over the years, there have been people in the fan base who want to distance themselves from Season 1 as much as possible.
Huh. I have seen a lot of people say that it's their least favorite season, but I didn't think they hated it that much.
Uh-huh. But before we go any further, I say we change the scene a little bit. And voila!
Whoa, you got a television studio in your house?
Of course, it's where I do all my work. That being said, hello everybody, and welcome to the show. You couldn't have picked a better time to be here. This is a special edition video where I'm joined by a special guest to talk about a special topic of interest. Without further ado, please welcome Jem Reviews.
Hey guys, that wasn't quite what I expected, but I'm glad to be here nevertheless.
Glad to hear that, Jem.
You know, I've always wanted to be on a talk show.
Oh?
Yeah, Dr. Phil, Oprah, The View, Ellen DeGeneres. I don't know if I ever told you that.
Really? Dr. Phil? Should have worn a bald cap.
You sure are muttering to yourself a lot, Martin.
Huh? Oh, don't mind that either. Just musing as usual.
Okay then. Well, I hate to impose, but you invited me over here for a reason. So, what do you say we cut to the chase?
Absolutely. Capital idea there, Jem. So, I'm joined by my most esteemed and special guest to talk about something that's rarely been talked about. See, Jem over here has recently finished watching and reviewing the very first season of the Amazing World of Gumball, and we're here today to discuss the ins and outs of that season, leaving not a single stone unturned.
Yep, overall I thought it was a fine season. I gave it, in letter grade terms, a C+, which, for a first season, is slightly better than most. I mean, some shows are prone to experiment with their first seasons, and that can sometimes lead to some terrible episodes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Gumball's mixed media style is definitely one of the show's most defining and appealing aspects. The show might appear chaotic on a surface level because of it, but there's a beauty to that chaos that the show acknowledges and uses to its advantage. It lends itself to a lot of creative moments, both in the writing and especially the visuals, allowing for a lot of amusing and inventive sight gags. Though with that being said, Season 1 makes minimal use of this medium blending, with only one or two such instances if the show is being generous.
I do know what you mean. Despite the show having a vast assortment of characters, aside from a select few like Tina, Banana Joe, and I guess to some degree Masami, the first season doesn't really use these characters to their advantage. Aside from Terry slapping Gumball in the party, and Anton being attacked by crows in the end, the characters being what they are adds little to the actual episodes, and they seem to try to get their visual jokes from other sources.
Other sources as in...
Well, for example, the curse gets its visual humor from Murphy's Law, and the helmet gets its visual humor from Lord of the Rings.
No! Okay! I'm sorry! I can already feel its power!
Well, not for long! Come on, Darwin!
There are more examples in the season, but those are the two right off the top of my head.
Ah, I understand. So these episodes are geared more on referential humor for their visuals than the characters.
Exactly, and while those episodes were nevertheless great, that's still not the most effective way to do visual humor for a show with so many standout character designs.
That aspect of the show does improve throughout its lifespan, but it definitely would have been better had the staff played their cards much sooner. First impressions are important after all, and as someone once told me, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. But to be fair, this is Ben Bocalet's first outing in the field of animation, having come straight out of the advertisement industry with less than stellar results.
Really? Are you telling me these characters used to be in commercials?
Well, they didn't used to be in commercials because they were never in commercials, but yeah, that was Ben's original intent, with Penny even being a planned poster child for Nickelodeon, and even carrying a gun back then. A freaking gun!
How did you come up with Penny?
Well, she was part of an old pitch I did, like for Nickelodeon at the time, I think.
Commercial pitch.
Commercial pitch at Studio K. And I really liked this idea of just like a weird looking peanut with antlers and
Cheerleader
stuff. I think she had a gun at the time.
Whoa! That's some pretty edgy stuff right there. I never knew any of this actually.
And now you do. You're very welcome. Dun 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 dun.
Martin, what are you doing?
Humming the good old The More You Know jingle. What? A little showmanship never hurt anybody.
Okay. Well, what else were the biggest complaints with this season? Well, I know it contains some of the series' most infamous episodes, like The Laziest, The Robot, and The Picnic. Those episodes alone can't be the entire reason this season is so disliked. So, what other reasons are there?
The thing with this season is that it's rather inconsistent in several aspects. The characterization gets all over the place at times, namely with the protagonist himself. In The Laziest and The Picnic, for example, Gumball does not have any nuances to him and is portrayed in a one-dimensional manner, insensitive in The Laziest and disastrously idiotic in The Picnic.
Who says we forfeit? We're gonna take you on ourselves.
We will?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah!
You're going the wrong way.
What did it tell you?
It said we're going the right way.
I said wrong way.
Yep, definitely. This is the way.
That's true, I noticed the inconsistencies with him myself in my seasonal reviews. And you know what else I noticed? It wasn't even just him. Well, he was the worst offender of not having a definitive character in order to suit the episode. Characters like Nicole and Anais also fell into that trap, like in The Robot where they fall for Bobbert's disguise, despite Gumball not falling for it.
What the? I can't believe this report card. What's happened to you, Gumball?
You're like the same, but better.
You're the best son a family could wish for.
We love you, Gumball.
And Nicole and Anais are supposed to be the sensible members of the family.
Uh-huh.
Another issue with this season is in its tone. Certain episodes seem to be unfocused in what they want to accomplish, and it's not that one episode feels different from another. More often than not, I've found that the tone within a single episode changes to fit the writer's agenda. Going back to The Laziest, it's supposed to be a competition between Richard and his two sons, and who between them is lazier. But the premise takes a momentary backseat to give us an unpleasant montage of Larry's life going into a downward spiral at Gumball's hands and Darwin's fins. It's so removed from the rest of the episode, comes completely out of nowhere, and doesn't service the plot in any way, shape, or form.
That I definitely agree with. The Laziest definitely rubbed me the wrong way as well. Has the tone of the later seasons changed though?
Yes, it has, and they've become more consistent as a result. The plots are more focused, the characters more defined, and the writing tighter and more on point. Come to think of it, the inconsistencies of Season 1 are largely due to its derivative nature. I'm sure you noticed it, but Season 1 uses many storytelling conventions that have been used in earlier and more established animated series, a lot of which have become tiresome at this point. And unlike the later seasons, which toyed around with these tropes to subversive and ingenious effect, Season 1 employed these tropes completely straight. It sounds innocuous, but going back to the point about first impressions, it's not the best way to leave a good first impression on a prospective audience.
Even then, there has to be more to it that really makes it worth forgetting. Namely, it's episodes like The Debt that are among the worst offenders in my book.
I noticed that you didn't like that episode in particular, and thinking about it now, I can't say I disagree with you there.
And for being only the 4th episode of the season, it seemed too reliant on very poor and very easy to write tactics. It basically made Gumball so stupid that he believes a slow-moving car is gonna run him over. And it also made him so ignorant to what he's doing to Mr. Robinson, while also not explaining what it is that makes Mr. Robinson so lovable to Gumball. To be fair, they never really do answer that, but at the very least, they get more out of him and out of Gumball and Darwin being obsessed with him in later similar episodes, like The Car and The Poltergeist. With The Debt being the introduction to Gumball's obsession with Mr. Robinson, it really didn't have much of a leg to stand on. All that being said, I can still chalk that up to what you said about them not playing their cards too soon. And because it is such an early episode, I can at least file it away as a forgettable one.
You pretty much hit the nail on the head there. I just found it kind of boring, really. Except for the musical number. That is glorious. Getting back on track, I do need to clarify that because this is one of the show's earlier episodes, it's not really a case of Gumball being flanderized. At that point, no one knew anything about him and the rest of the characters for that matter. It'd be different if this were the second to last episode, in which case, yes, Gumball would have been flanderized. Just thought I'd get this out there, because I've seen the term flanderization being thrown around quite often, and rather incorrectly at that. Still in all, poor writing is poor writing.
Ah, fire! Stop, drop, and roll! Stop, drop, and roll! Stop, drop, and roll!
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Easy there, Jem. Easy! Okay, first off, can we not play stock footage like that ever again? Good lord, someone's getting a pay cut after that.
Well, what the hell was that then?
A reminder, we're about to go into our commercial break.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And this just got awkward. Sorry about that, folks.
That's alright. Anyway, we will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
See you in a few, everyone.
welcome back to the insert name of show here. Show featuring the lustrous Jem Reviews.
Lustrous, eh? That has a nice ring to it. What's that mean?
Glowing, shining, radiant. Take your pick.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
So, let's continue, shall we? Season 1 of Gumball. What are your final thoughts? You still think it's a season worth forgetting?
But while I think I can see more where people are coming from with why the first season is so bad compared to the rest, I would offer the argument that the first season actually does its job. Here's the thing, the first season's job is to hook you into the show enough to the point where you want to see the rest of the show. And it did that for me. And if the next few seasons alter my views of episodes from this season, that shouldn't be an issue. At the end of the day, a good series needs to continue to get better and hopefully find a steady rhythm. You don't want your show to be all downhill after the first season, so I don't think I'd call the first season bad. I think I'd call it exactly as good as it needed to be.
I see where you're coming from, and you're not wrong there. The prototypical nature of Season 1 aside, it accomplished what it set out to do, rope in a prospective audience. The very concept of Gumball has a strong set of legs to stand on that it's more than enough to keep the viewers engaged and interested in what's to come, even if it does take a full season for the crew to find their groove. And this isn't about Season 1 leaving a weak first impression. It's about the show not playing its best cards too soon, which, despite what I said earlier, actually worked out in the show's favor since it allows the later seasons to find their own voices and leave a stronger impression on the viewers.
Exactly. Though, I do want to add that a show can play its cards too early and still continue to get better. Shows like SpongeBob, Ed, Edd n Eddy, and arguably Rick and Morty all had great first seasons and continued to improve down the road. Sure, 2 of them eventually bottomed out, but those first few seasons really helped them form a concrete identity, and that's mostly because they found what worked for them very early and continued to build off of that. But it's by no means uncommon for a show to experiment more with its first season.
A similar scenario I want to bring up is with Steven Universe, which I had actually discussed with Alpha J of the Alpha J Show a while back. He and I discussed and agreed that had the pilot of Steven Universe been of the same caliber as the Season 1 finale, Jailbreak, then it would have been detrimental to the show in the long run. Yes, it would win over fans by the Legion, but doing so would have also set the bar way too high for the subsequent seasons. This is actually a widespread principle, not just a cartoon exclusive one. Experimentation is an integral part of both the creative process and the growth of a creator and his creation. And over time, that growth will show in the drastic changes between the early and later parts of a creation's lifespan, as is the case with the Amazing World of Gumball and Ben Bocalet's profession as a cartoonist.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And without tooting my own horn, my experience with Season 1 of Gumball is proof positive of this explanation. I enjoyed Season 1 well enough that I'm excited and confident that the following seasons will only get better.
Just be sure to stay away from the hero. That stupid, godforsaken, good-for-nothing piece of motherfucker!
Whoa, Martin! Calm down.
Sorry, I just get so triggered by that episode.
So I've heard. You really hate that episode, do you?
You have no idea, Jem.
Maybe you should stop thinking about it. Just a thought. Come on, man, you know what it does to you.
I will. There will be reckoning when I finally get to that infernal episode. I'm the one and only C.R. Martin.
And I'm the illustrious Jem Reviews. And we'll see
you
you guys
soon.
soon.